Oh, this is new. No. It's quite confusing. I want to preview this. Oh, boy. Oh, here we go. It says live on one. It says live on the other. How about we just do that? And, oh, okay. I guess this makes a little more sense. Okie dokie. Now let's just get this set up for Periscope. Am I able to share this to wherever? Let me stop that right there. I hate technology sometimes. I really do. Okay. There we go. Now we're cooking with peanut oil. We're cooking with gas. There we go. How long? Let me tell you. I have to. It's by the law where I have to. Like hell, I am going to wear that shit indoors and during my shows. I ain't going to wear that. Hell to the no. I figure I turn it up a notch. For those who don't know, for the group that I am broadcasting in, I am Greg Risorto. I am a Giants fan. A New York Giants fan, as you can clearly tell. Maybe some Raiders, but Giants by far. Giants number one overall. Now, I figure, let me do this so that way I can at least give some entertainment to some during these quarantining times. Because, trust me, as for someone who knows, a lot of people who are in quarantine right now and who are doing nothing, not by choice, I figure give them a little something. Talk about something, you know? Talk about some sports because God knows we can only listen to WFAN for so long. And why don't we talk about something different? Why don't we talk about something like football? Because nothing's happening with baseball, unfortunately, and I'm devastated by that. Hockey's on hold, which is, again, I'm devastated. But I figure let's talk about something else. Football. More specifically, the New York Football Giants. Now, before I say anything else, subscribe to my YouTube channel, The Risorto Report. I didn't post a link in this, whoops. But just look it up, The Risorto Report on YouTube. Subscribe there. What else is there? Like The Risorto Report on Facebook. Follow me on Twitter, Greg_Risorto, TRR. Now, I figure, talk about some things coming up. FYI, I'm not good with drafting or I don't know much about it. But I can tell you this. If I'm the Giants, and this is me, especially after watching the atrocious defense last year, I'd say go after a guy like Simmons in the draft. I'm not familiar with trade scenarios, so don't get me started on that. However, I've heard some trade scenarios where you go after the lineman first, and then you go after the offensive lineman, then you go into the defense later. I think you should focus on the defense first, especially after what we witnessed last year where they couldn't stop a damn cold. There's more holes in that defense than Swiss cheese. That's unacceptable by any means. But I could tell you this in regards to Gettleman, are his free agent signings great? Not by a long shot. The only one I tended to like was Golden Tate. Aside from that, you can't really say much else. But his drafting has been on point. Willie Hernandez, Saquon Barkley, Daniel Jones, I think Love, Baker, that kid Connolly. Unfortunately, he got hurt. But let me tell you, that was a solid pickup. If only he stayed healthy, that would have been something. Now, last year, there wasn't much to be expected. However, when it came to the Giants, it was a possibility that a rebuild was going to happen. And at that point, I didn't think it was going to be a Super Bowl season or even a competitive one for that matter. But I thought it was going to be a lot more competitive than what we saw. The offense was fine. I had no issue with the offense. It was the defense that couldn't stop anything. That defense was sorry. Those dudes should have handed in their game checks each and every game because they were sorry, except with the 4 wins that they've got. Or they had last year. It was miserable for that New York Giants team. Absolutely atrociously miserable. And everybody who I knew who was a Giants fan hated it. They understood that it was a rebuild, yes. But my God, that was miserable. Awful. Atrocious. Hell, even Dolphins fans were mocking us, but Dolphins fans really can't talk. But this year, thank God Shermer's out, and thank God Betcher's out. Thank God. But I can tell you this. When it comes to the offense, with Jason Garrett now doing the offensive play calling, let's hope, but as the offensive coordinator for the New York Giants, I am 100% in favor of that. He was a guy I wanted for offensive coordinator. Joe Judge is in as head coach. We don't know what's going to happen. I was listening to Evan Roberts yesterday, which is rare where I listen to sports radio, but I hit it by mistake while I was driving. And I figured, well, they're talking about the Jets and the Giants. Let's hear this. And he said something that's incredibly accurate. And one of the rare things that I'll agree with them on is that the Giants and the Jets have their similarities. You know what you have in Daniel Jones for the most part, and for some of it, you have to see more. But you also have what you see in Sam Darnold. The things that you don't know what you have, the things you do know that you have. You know what you have in Gettleman, and you know what you have in Adam Gase. What you don't know what you have is in Joe Judge and Joe Douglas. For those of you who don't know, Joe Douglas is the GM for the Jets, and Joe Judge is the new head coach for the New York Giants. We don't know how things are going to go. We honestly don't. Is Joe Douglas going to do great for the Jets? Who knows? Is Joe Judge going to be great for the Giants? Who knows? We don't know this. The only thing that we do know is that Joe Judge was the special teams coordinator or special teams coach, for that matter. I believe it's one of the two, for the New England Patriots last year. And he's been in the Patriots system for a long time. But he got a glowing review from one Bill Belichick, obviously. But he also got one from Nick Saban. Now, I'm no college football expert. As a matter of fact, I'm an Ohio State fan. But I'm not well-versed in college football. And I don't pay close enough attention to it to where it's, oh, hey, it's I know this or I know that. I don't know that. And for those of you who don't know who Nick Saban is a legendary University of Alabama coach. So if you're getting a glowing review from him, I say go for it. Now, where Dave Gettleman has struck out is, like I said, free agency. Well, you can't really say he struck out, but he also didn't pick the right head coach in Pat Shurmur. But honestly, Arnold, how's it going, Rich? Arnold, when it comes to Jason Garrett, it's a lot better than having him as a head coach. His offenses are deadly, are nasty. You saw what he did with Dak Prescott in the previous years, his offensive schemes as head coach of the of the Cowboys. I'm honestly looking forward to what he has to bring to the table as offensive coordinator for the New York Giants. Because we all know Joe Judge is going to be calling the shots. It's not going to be Garrett. Now, when it comes to Joe Douglas now for the Jets, and I can't stand the Jets for the life of me. Don't get me started. I don't like them. I'm not a Jets fan. We don't know what he's been. He's been a member of the Ravens crew, of the Ravens squad, the Bears squad, the Eagles squad. 3 teams I can't stand. But honestly, for the Jets, you don't know what you're going to have. This is his first year as GM. His first year. So while you could say, well, he came in, I think it was mid-season by Adam Gase, you really can't judge off of what went on. That was more or less Mike Maccagnan's squad than it was Joe Douglas's. Now, can you put onus on ownership? Well, excuse me. You can and you can't. Because when it comes to ownership, the Jets' ownership is putrid to begin with, but the Giants' ownership is different. 6 years ago, you were praising them, saying, oh my God, this is great ownership. You know, they're coming off a Super Bowl. I'm sorry, not 6, however long it was. But now because they're not listening to the fans, and honestly, when it came to Eli Manning, you didn't know what was going on. You didn't have anybody to seed him. You weren't trusting Geno Smith with that. Let's make that one thing clear. Thank God. And honestly, don't know what the hell McAdoo was thinking with that Geno Smith BS. But that really pissed me off, as well as a lot of other Giants fans. And Alex Tanney, Curtis Painter, oh, well. But with this move, Daniel Jones. I almost said Alex Jones. Wow, no politicals. When it came to Daniel Jones, just something seemed right, especially when we watched him in the preseason. Daniel Jones had that it factor. Now, when he was drafted, it was known that he had ball security issues. We knew that coming into this. But from what we saw, he's got the legs, he's got the arm. Now, if he works on the ball security, then I think he's got it. I'm not saying, he's going to be this great quarterback, but both the Giants and the Jets have their prospective quarterbacks of the future. The Jets in Sam Darnold and the Giants in Daniel Jones. Now, there were moves that were made. I'll look them up right now, the list of Giants moves that were made. Let's see here. I gotta type in New York Giants, New York Football Giants. I'm looking for the soccer team. Let's get that straight, because I'm not a big fan of soccer either. I can't stand it. It puts me to sleep. Okay. So the moves that they made, let's see here, I think they signed C.J. Conrad. I could be wrong. They signed the former Panthers cornerback, James Bradbury, an excellent pickup for the Giants. Who else did they sign? They signed a couple of linebackers, too. Who did they sign? Linebackers. They signed Kyle Fackrell and Blake Martinez. Personally, I think those are good additions. They might not have been glowing in Green Bay, but I'd have to say I think it's an improvement of what we had last year, and especially when we have guys like, let's see here, Ryan Connolly, guy I loved. Unfortunately, he got hurt. Very upsetting. DeAndre Baker, Sam Beal, Corey Ballantyne. Prepare to see some of these guys converted to safeties. I won't be surprised if I see that happen. So, just in case, don't be surprised if you see some of these guys converted from cornerbacks to safeties. Nate Ebner is a special teams guy. Jabril Peppers, if he's healthy, I think he can get it done. What other moves were made? Deion Lewis, a good backup option for this Giants team. Colt McCoy, they signed to a short-term deal, like a 1 or 2 year deal, to be the backup to Daniel Jones. Now, some people did heavily criticize this move of signing Colt McCoy, saying we should have gone after Mariota or some other guy. But here's the thing. If you're complaining about your backup quarterback signing, keep in mind, this is the backup quarterback. The backup. And you really don't have much to be concerned about. This is a guy who spent a good portion of his career in the Washington Redskins. He was signed there. He was the Cleveland Browns quarterback, which was, that. But he spent 6 seasons in Washington as the backup. From 2014 to 2019, Colt McCoy played in Washington. Now, he might not have played every game, but he sure as hell was there for most of it. When Kirk Cousins was still there. He was a backup for the 49ers for 1 year, but he played in Cleveland. That's where his starting days were. But now he's the backup quarterback for the New York Giants. And personally, why not? He's not Eli Manning. By far, he's not. But he's a good mentor figure to help out Daniel Jones. And he knows the NFC East division. So he could give him some pointers. Now, is he the ideal candidate for a backup quarterback? No. But in all honesty, who the hell is? Who the hell is a prime candidate for a backup quarterback? You can select anybody. Alex Tanney could be a primary backup quarterback, but he's a third stringer. But that's the thing. These are backups. These aren't the starters. If Jones were to get hurt, I have no problem throwing Colt McCoy in there. I really don't. Because you want to know why? Because when it comes to Colt McCoy, it's not like it's, life or death at this point. If Jones were to suffer a season-ending injury, we'd have to rely on Colt McCoy, and that's something. But it's a veteran move. It's not some guy who's a third stringer. It's a backup quarterback who's got some experience, who's got a lot of experience in the NFL, not more likely as a starter, but as a backup, which is fine. I'm not saying he's the savior, like, oh God, what was his name? Oh, mother of God. I don't remember the name. I just had it. He backed up Phil Simms. Oh, Jeff Hostetler. That's it. He's not a Jeff Hostetler, but it's still. It's better than nothing. Would you rather have Geno Smith? I sure as hell wouldn't. I would rather have a guy who's been, but he's a lot better than Geno Smith. Am I right? I tend to think I am. Heisman Trophy winner, Manning Award. Well, these are college awards. But nothing out of the NFL. But my point being, the kid is decent. He's not, my God, he's terrific. But he's decent. He's not bad. And for a backup quarterback, he's not bad. And I don't mind it. Sure, he had a terrific college career, but that was college, where he had his number retired by the Texas Longhorns. Good accomplishment. But I'm not sold on the fact that he's this terrible quarterback that Giants fans are making him out to be. And this isn't going to go on much longer. It's going to be another 10 minutes, and I'm going to call it. But when you're talking about a backup quarterback, you're talking about a guy to at least be there if your starter gets hurt. And for this case, when it comes to Daniel Jones and Colt McCoy, why not? It's not bad. It's a backup quarterback. It's not like he's going to be starting right out of the gate. I'm pretty sure Daniel Jones is going to get the starting job. I have the utmost confidence in that. I think Gettleman made a good move in signing him. I think he made a great move in signing these guys. Fackrell, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Martinez. Who else? Deion Lewis to be a backup, which is fine. Cody Core, I believe. Some of these names I don't think I've even seen. Was Tomlinson here? Or am I thinking someone else? Yes, Eric Tomlinson, decent tight end. Garrett Dixon, was he on the Giants last year? Yes, he was. Some of these names I don't recognize, and forgive me for that. James Bradbury was an excellent signing, so we can see where things will go from here. Now, I just want to know, I think they were talking about some guy. I think his name was Cameron Fleming, who is signed by who was on the Patriots last year. But I'm sorry, on the Cowboys last year, but he's supposed to be the stud tackle. Why not? I'm fine with that. Because if you were to get a offensive lineman, solidify that offensive line, which is something Jerry Reese didn't even bother. Was it Kevin Zeitler? I don't remember who. No, it was a younger kid. My point is, This offensive line has the potential. It honestly does, in my opinion. Now, am I saying that this is, oh my God, this is the greatest Giants team ever? No, absolutely not. But I can tell you this. This Giants team has potential. Potential is a BS word for maybe. Don't ever get that confused. Potential is a BS word for maybe. Because you never know what's going to happen. It's the same thing when you talk about the minor leagues and prospects in any other sport. Oh, he's a prospect. He has great potential. Well, guess what? Potential is a BS word. Up until I see it happen, it's nothing. So you understand where I'm coming from. Now, the draft is coming up on Thursday. I'll be watching the first round. And pretty much that's it. Because I can't bring myself to watch the rest. I really can't. I have confidence in Daniel Jones. I have confidence in this Giants team. Am I saying they're going to be a Super Bowl contender next year? Absolutely not. But I think they will be a lot more competitive than they were last year. I can see them having a 6-10 record. That is my minimum for a successful season as an upgrade to last year. Slow and steady. This is a rebuilding team. I don't have a problem with this team rebuilding, especially right now. So we'll just see where things go from there. So I'll open the floor for any questions, comments, concerns, and if there aren't any, I'm just going to end the thing right here. Mr. Allshear is back. Nice. You miss Islanders hockey. I do too. And we will get through the coronavirus. I also hope that everyone's doing all right and staying safe, practicing your social distancing, wearing your surgical masks, although in this case I'm not really wearing a surgical mask. I'm wearing a mask. It's a mask, regardless. People are telling me this should be an Islanders live stream. Well, I told y'all, when the Islanders officially sign Ilya Sorokin, the goaltender, I will do a live stream on that. But he hasn't yet. So it's not going to happen yet. Like I told you. Anybody who hates the Cowboys, whew, I hate them. There's only one thing good about liking the Cowboys. That's their cheerleaders. Indeed. So I'm going to call it right here. But let's just hope the Giants make the right moves at the draft. Hoping for a good season. Let's go Giants.